Welcome to the BMF recap. When Meech and Terry were young, they started running with Pat, their dealer. Recently, Meech got kicked out of their house by their parents, Lucille and Charles, for having a gun. But in fact it was Terry's. They don't know that he is intertwined in the street life like Meech. Lucille and Charles are worried about their mortgage payments. They've become more embroiled in debt ever since the car broke down. There are 3 gang regions in their area: Detroit, River Rouge, and Ecorse, all a street from each other. Lamar used to run the 3 regions, robbing dealers and selling heroin until he got arrested. 12th Street and the 50 Boys became the 2 gangs running the regions. He got sent to an asylum, but Reagan started emptying out all of them, and he was let out on 2 years. Now that he is out, he catches Meech leaving Monique's place and warns him not to come back. They expand to new places like the Ecorse Rec Center. They decide to sell less stepped on blow for higher prices, and they sell out faster than usual. The family come together for Terry and Lawanda's baby, celebrating Pat's birthday. They meet some of his friends, including Boom, another dealer, and his wife, Markeisha Taylor. Kwame presses Terry for punching him in class, but Meech has his back, so they bounce. They ask for another shipment, but Pat declines, scared that too much business will get them killed or draw too much police attention. They decide to find another dealer and become kings like they promised. On the day they are about to meet the new dealer, Terry is running late and he is jumped and shot. Terry was shot in the face and he might potentially lose his sight due to an accident in surgery. Infuriated, Lucille and Charles blame Meech for dragging Terry into the life of crime, still unsure if he is involved or not. Meech interrogates Kwame and snatches his chain. Rumors spread that J-Mo shot Terry, and B. Mickey, their right-hand man, says that they need to press that issue and drop him off, or the streets will know he is soft. He apologizes to his sister Nicole and gives her bread to keep the family safe. Detective Bryant, a corrupt cop, drops off J-Mo for them. Meech tries to interrogate him, but he says that he didn't do anything. But B. Mickey drops him off, saying it will be their little secret, and Meech can say that he did it. Lucille cuts off all connections to the family because Meech won't leave the streets. Lamar tries to get back into Monique's good graces to see Zoe, their child, and he sneakily beats up Fenn, a loyal right-hand man of J-Mo, to try and get control of the 12th Street. In the hospital, Lamar visits him, scaring him off after news that J-Mo is missing, and he recently joined the 12th Street. Pastor Swift comes to pray for Terry. They are behind on payments to Pat, so they set up a new food truck to start selling rocks in the back to factory workers. Detective Bryant rolls up, warning them about the new task force on drugs, so he won't be able to help them much. Meech realizes that Pat smokes crack, and he pays him back for the missing payments. They celebrate Terry getting better, now knowing that Lamar runs 12th Street, since J-Mo and Fenn are gone. Charles discovers that Meech paid their mortgage with drug money and leaves their house for good. Meech finds out that Monique is back with Lamar. They start the process to file a malpractice suit for the hospital's accident and surgery. Pat doesn't allow them to buy more weight, so Rock, his assistant, tells them about Big L, setting them up at a bar with an appointment, but he doesn't show, and Meech leaves to holler at some chicks. They meet up with Rock and Pat again, but Pat kills Rock for going against him and makes them clean up the body. They hear that their stash house has been robbed and all of their loot too. Hoop got shot, but he clipped one of the robbers' legs too. Only 5 of them know where it is: Meech, Terry, B. Mickey, Hoop, and Kader. B. Mickey was out helping his mum in the hospital, but they suspect it is him. The family congregate to baptize Terry Lee Jr. They are interrupted by Detective Bryant and Lopez, following up on a missing person named J-Mo, but Meech refuses to go with them, and that is when Charles leaves too. Terry meets with Big L, or the lady that was at the bar. She agrees to do business, but with only him. Meech advises Detective Bryant about sticking together and continues to pay him. The hospital offers them 25 grand. Meech and Charles want them to take the money, but Lucille is against it. Without any money to front Big L, Meech kidnaps Zoe as a surprise adventure after school. They want their stash back for Zoe. They jump Slick, the guy Hoop shot, and they torture him. He gives them the location to the stash to free Zoe, and Monique kicks Lamar out for endangering Zoe. Tiny flips on the 12th Street Boys for focusing on personal life over business and starts dealing with Meech. Scared of the repercussions, Detective Bryant gives back the bribe money and ends their work relationship with Meech. Terry pays for their first batch of coke. He stresses the idea that Lamar will want revenge and the repercussions of all the deaths. But at that exact moment, Lucille walks in and finds out that Terry is involved and lied to her. Lamar fails to press Meech, getting scared off by his goons. Their lawyer Karen quits after Charles berates her for being an amateur and not getting them enough money. Lucille has stopped leaving her room ever since she found out Terry was in the street. He meets up with Q, Tiny's cousin and a big dealer in Detroit, but he doesn't want to do business after hearing that they snaked Pat. Lamar's entire crew flipped on him, like Meech convinced Tiny to do. They disband the 50 Boys, starting a new name, Black Mafia Family, because now they're selling to their goons. That way they get more money and the entire organization grows. Meech goes with Tiny to a gambling spot that Q chills at. After winning in multiple dice games, he convinces Q to become their dealer. Lucille and Charles come together to try and talk some sense into him, but they leave it that he needs to help himself before they can. Struggling to get revenge, Lamar catches Nicole and her boyfriend Darius alone from the guards, stabbing Darius as Nicole runs away, and driving away as passerbys notice. Lamar takes out all the frustration on Slick and delivers the body to Tiny. Nicole is brought in for questioning after Darius' stabbing. She lies for Terry and Meech, saying it was a random person that stabbed Darius. 12th Street used this anger to try and kill Lamar, but he escapes. Lucille begs Karen to bring them back on as clients, and she agrees. They have a small lead on a nurse that was working there. Meech later finds out that he ran to Monique's house and beat her up. All the boys are down because the police have been arresting all adult black men on the corners, and they get wind of B, Mickey and Kato dating, so he tells them to break it off. Terry and the family attend Darius' funeral. His mother ridicules Lucille for letting her boys deal drugs and getting her son killed. They stay on the block with Meech dealing dime bags. When Lopez spots them and pursues them, he catches Meech, and to save him, Kato hits him with a metal pipe, killing Detective Lopez. B. Mickey gets to his crib and catches Lamar leaving it. He confronts Kato about it, and she explains that she was working for him after they caught a body and he kept the charge. Meech meets up with Detective Bryant, relaying the information that his partner, Detective Lopez, got killed, so they gotta pay now. B. Mickey informs them about Kato and they form a plan to catch Lamar. The nurse came in clutch, admitting that she smelled alcohol on the doctor's breath. After all the fees, their payout will be roughly 150 grand, and Charles wants them to use the money to set up a car service business. They catch Lamar lacking and shoot him twice, and they leave him for dead. As Kato tries to escape, B. Mickey kills her. They cry and celebrate together all night because B. Mickey loved her. Lucille got inside Lawanda's head, and now she is moving to Pennsylvania with her cousin, scared to die on the streets. They get their re-up, but 10 bricks this time. Terry leaves the street life and gives back the BMF chain, deciding to go straight for his family. Without Terry in the game, Big L stops dealing with Meech. He meets K9, a cartel-affiliated gangster, through his connector Earl, who deals with him in 20 bricks, and he killed Big L for them. Terry and Charles have their own car service business, but it has barely gotten off the ground. He finds out Lucille and Lawanda plotted to leave, so Terry would leave the game. Meech absorbs the 12th Street, so now they can grow as an organization. The family go visit Lucille's side of the family, most prominently her mother, Erlene, and Meech visits to link with James and his boss Terrell, who is running the streets in Cleveland. Terry knows B. Mickey is a no-show, so he takes the work down to Cleveland for Meech. They discount some blow for Terrell, but they don't want to pay the price negotiated, so he visits Felicia, his mother, telling him to let James become boss now, or else. While they were gone, a stash house got raided. Dink and Big Boy Hoop got jammed up. Charles recruits a third driver for their business, his friend from work, Denise. Meech feels bad for being Mickey's mother in the hospital, and reminds the troops that B is second in charge. He runs into Terry, and confronts him for bringing down the work to Cleveland, and pressing his boys in the process, and they get into a big fight over him leaving the game, but wanting to help. A particular bust in Florida leads to over 8,700 pounds of cocaine being seized, creating a drought for the drug. James calls to tell Meech that he got robbed, and his entire stash got taken. Terry drives Nicole to school, but his tires are shot out. He suspects a guy named Cleet from a rival car business. He starts to holler at Markeisha Taylor, Boom's wife, but all their cars are slashed. Denise helps Terry get revenge, but messing with all the cars in Cleet's shop, but as a bonus, they jump him at night. K9 is low on product, and word on the street is that James copped a new whip. They are about to drive down to B. Mickey's new plug, but they get a shocking surprise that Lamar is still alive and lights them up. Brian and his new partner, Detective Veronica Jin, pull up, and police escort them to the hospital. Meech recovers quickly, and Terry takes over BMF for the time being. He organizes a meeting with Boom using Markeisha, and he agrees to sell them 10 bricks. Terry convinces Denise to drive the car down to Cleveland to see her son. He disguises it as a pickup for their passengers on their business, and also gets the drop from Boom. They stop at the shop where B. Mickey ensures that the car is set for the drop in Cleveland. Tiny and Nito leave late at night. Denise leaves late at night, but Brian and Veronica follow, searching her car to find all the bricks. Denise phones them back for help, and Terry advises her to wait for a lawyer. Charles and Lucille find out he's back in the streets. He meets up with Meech at his baby mama's house. Their last option is to bounce because they know Denise is gonna sing. They decide to drive to Atlanta. Terry makes a pit stop and tells Markeisha that he's gonna skip town for a bit, and they start engaging in sin in the back of the insurance firm. They apologize and thank their family, giving their last bits of cash away. But Charles gives them his life saving. They quickly speed off as Lamar rams into their car. They get away as a car separates them. They make a pit stop in Cleveland to beat up James for lying and jack his new ride. They meet up with Earl, who can't front them 10 bricks, but can show them a new dice game. The owner is Goldie, and they are scammed for 7.5k. They bounce and connect with one of Meech's plug, who can't front them any bricks because of the drought. They stick up Goldie and forces her to show them to a game, promising to pay her for it. They flip their money fast and makes Big Mike lose his money. They can only afford a few bricks and learn how Pint, a specialist, can turn one brick into two when turning it into crack. Monique represents Denise and she accepts their deal. She will have to do some jail time, but her son will get college paid for. Lamar catches them lacking and sneaks up on Lucille, and Nicole gives them a call for backup. She prays for his soul and he decides against killing them and leaves. Saki, one of their day ones, gets killed and Terry fully accepts quitting school. Meat tries to get the re-up from K9, but his cousin Raisin tells him that he owes his plug, the Colombians, 20 million. Meech meets with Sterling from PA and they agree to buy coke from them. Markeisha breaks it off with Terry after finding out about his wife and kid. B. Mickey is sent in as an informant for Detective Bryant to try and get info on Meech, but he breaks and shows Meech. They quickly escape with the drugs, but after seeing his mom, he is kidnapped. They get a new plug, the Colombians, Cena, for 300 bricks, and they find out Raisin double-crossed all of them, so they dead him. K9 knew he was like that and welcomes Meech as a boss now. Lawanda discovers that Terry has been cheating on her, and Meech catches Charles in the strip club with Mabel, but he promises to not tell Lucille, as to not break her heart. B. Mickey was kidnapped by Brian and left to starve for days. He escaped and goes to visit his mother in the hospital. Sadly, he is notified that she passed 2 days ago. They expand the operation to Ohio and try to get more drivers to deliver the product to the locations, buying a car wash to hide more cars and stashes. They celebrate all the success by renting out an ice skating rink for the family and friends to attend. Lucille realizes that Charles has been having an affair from a receipt from the Easy Rest motel, but she doesn't know who. Meech catches B. Mickey and stops him from murdering Detective Bryant. They never took him into the station as an informant, so the gun linking him to the two bodies has to be in his house. When he breaks in, he has to restrain his son Kevin. He wasted too much time and Bryant gets home and he flees without the gun. Lucille figures out that it was Mabel by her Easy Rest motel matches and she scares her off. They take a trip to Atlanta where they fail to set up a connect through Goldie, but with Ty and his boys, he gets a connect in a gang. But when they leave, the place is shut up by Remy, their rivals, and Ty is killed. His baby mama wants revenge. Monique tries to set up Lamar, but he knew something was up and strangled her to death. Terry gets wind that Boom got arrested, and if Bryant shows the photos of him and Markeisha, he will snitch. K9's entire unit got caught up for multiple bodies, but they don't snitch on Meech or Terry. Lucille wants a divorce. Markeisha now stays with Terry since Boom got arrested. They try to beat B. Mickey's double homicide charge by threatening to let Leander testify that Bryant dropped J-Mo off for them on the night that he disappeared. If they don't get B. Mickey's gun, he rushes home, but the gun is missing. They get a distress call to a local park about a shooting. Kevin stole the gun and used it to kill his bully. He is arrested and there's a new investigation on why Bryant kept the gun as evidence. Meech deals with Lamar. His cousin Alvin tipped him off as he was going crazy, but he doesn't kill him and makes him smoke crack rocks to get addicted. Sterling spots Detective Veronica leaving B. Mickey's place, so they dead their relationship and cut B. Mickey out of their business. Their next move is to expand more. Terry will hold it down in Detroit, while Meech moves to Atlanta to grow. He assists Goldie in killing Big Mike, angry from losing over 100k to them. He was connected to the Mafia and they will be looking for Goldie now, so she has to go on the run, but she hooks him up with a new connect, Rodney Green, a good friend of hers. Boom's gang pull up on Terry for sleeping with his wife. This is where the series ends. For another action-enthralled series, watch this.